Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our third podcast in which we catch newcomers up to our RIFTS pen and paper game without them having to watch dozens and dozens and dozens of hours. Actually, literally hundreds of hours of content. So this podcast will be covering episodes from 49 to 73. And we last left off, we were about to, Parents Post was about to start its big tri-season festival in which the Endless Storytellers, a traveling band, comes into the town. And Dan Perrin loves it so much, he throws a little bit of an event for it, right? And during this event, soon after you guys acquired Jackie, I remember Al got bumped by a guy who was pretending he was drunk, and immediately, suspiciously, he checked his pockets to make sure nothing was stolen, and it wasn't, right? But soon, the group hears, feminine cries of help in a nearby alleyway, and you being the people who you are, you go to investigate, right? Mm-hmm. Now, is this stimulating memories for you, my fellow players?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely not.
Oh, yeah.
We'll keep going, Kriana, and I think you will remember what's going on.
Okay.
I know there is a particular part about these villains that made it seem kind of creepy to you.
Okay.
So sure enough, in the hallway in the corner is what appears to be like a young blonde girl, right? And sure enough, Al, being Al, goes up to approach and sees what happens. And she brandishes this scalpel and tries to fucking cut him in the arm. A vibro scalpel. She tries to cut him in the arm, in which he has his bionic arm. And sure enough, around the corner comes these thugs, these cyber snatchers. They don't identify as cyber snatchers, but cyber snatchers, at least in Rift's lore, are bandits who specialize in stealing cybernetic components from typically dead or live people, right? So a scrum ensues, and there's a very, very fun fight. I can remember a few things that each of the players do that makes things pretty interesting. I'll start with, I'll help out Kriana and remind her, and then I'll switch to Burn and Piff as to their recollections of this. So Kriana, in this fight, was actually the first time we got to see Milo really fight. And you might recall a certain showdown with a female cyber snatcher in which you broke her jaw with a single kick of your leg.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Mila kicked ass in this encounter, and at many points, the comment thread were a lot of different theories of what Mila was. One of the prevailing ones was that she was a dragon in like human form. So, Burn, who's playing Tom, do you remember some of the your character did during this encounter?
This encounter specifically spawned one of my favorite fan arts, which was from Jay Kana. And this was because, for the most part, during this entire encounter, I didn't really do much other than immediately burst into flame and then just walk around saying hi. How's it going? You guys shouldn't be doing this.
Yes, you erupted into flames, which really freaked a lot of people out, which stopped that encounter pretty quick, with the exception of the few individuals who couldn't see you and continued to fight on, right?
Yeah,
but yeah, the ones who were coming at you, you're just like, oh, this is cute. Flames. And they're like, maybe we shouldn't punch and stab that.
Yeah. And then I walked around the corner, poked my head around, and went, hi.
Yeah.
To the others, and they went, well, time to go.
Welp. But not before Patrick did a few things. You remember what Patty did there, Piffy?
I do probably recall he probably did not fight.
Except for doing one thing, which I guess wasn't really super violent.
Did he take a picture?
He did.
Probably, yeah.
He took a
That
picture in
sounds
the flight right in the front of some guy's face, and it blinded him for a little bit. Yeah. So soon after this scrum, sure enough, the parents post, militia security, comes on by. They check things out. A lot of the cyber snatchers get away, with the exception of what first appeared to be a little girl was actually just a DB. A DB of a race that looked kind of childlike. Yeah, now you remember. There's the realization.
Okay, all right, interesting.
Now everything's coming back. All those repressed memories.
Woo, I'll just have a drink.
So there was, she was childlike, but she wasn't quite like halfling, but very, very youthful, right? She was like a complete another adult, but she definitely had childlike qualities amongst her, like size and a Rubenesque face and so on and so forth. Her and the woman who had her jaw broken were in no position to run away, because I'm pretty sure Al caught the DB woman, I should say. So
Didn't he freaking take a knife to her throat or something?
Yeah,
like that?
he did. He did some crazy dual wielding knife stuff, and saved his own ass. And it pretty
that's
much
right, neural knife. Yeah.
he zapped her with the neural knife. Yeah.
Can the video that we have going right now, people can read what chat is saying, because there might be technically spoilers dropped.
Oh
yeah. All right, chat, don't. Well, yeah.
Wave your finger.
Well, we're gonna talk about it, but for those of you who are listening, maybe just listen. And if you're looking, then don't look. Don't look. Just don't look. Just don't look. Okay. Anyway.
Here, I'll get rid of chat for now. It'll be blank
Okay.
now.
Oh, okay.
Good call. We'll throw it back up when there's questions during the question period. Okay.
They're just excited. It's fine.
They are. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong about being excited.
Yeah.
So sure enough, the DB woman and the broken jaw gang member are recovering in the parents post the clinic, the medical office. And that's when really this was a big initiative of Al's, which is, I'm going to try to redeem this DB who tried to hurt me, right? I'm going to talk with her. He gave her a truth serum, asked her a bunch of personal questions, and pretty much gave her the opportunity of listen, I can either hand you over to Perrin, and they don't like cyber snatchers. Your life is going to be shit. Or you can work as my assistant. She agreed to work as the assistant. And soon after that, she stole a person's truck and ran away from the group. So this was actually during a time when Al and Tom? Yeah, Al and Tom got some cyber surgery. They got cyber armor grafted onto their bodies, right?
I do believe that Patrick did too. I could be
It
wrong.
was, yeah, Patrick. Wait, so that means Patrick still has his cyber armor?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
I always keep that in mind whenever anything comes up.
Probably a good idea. Probably a real good idea. So that might have been something. Anyway, that's cool.
You knew it the whole time.
I knew it the whole time.
You're
He
playing
was just
dumb.
testing us.
Yeah.
But no, that is good because now anyways, I'm digressing. So the party chases after her. They do kind of a trajectory, scanning, and then try to find her. And sure enough, Mila and Al find her first. Tom and Patrick quickly bringing up the rear, but they weren't in for this pivotal moment where Mila and Al, this DB woman is crossing the river. And they're on either side, and they're like, you're not going to be able to get away, right? And Mila catches her, and then what does Mila do?
Mila snaps her neck.
Except we find out later that wasn't Mila who snapped her neck.
No.
It was someone else.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, 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 bum. But yeah, she goes crunch, and no more cyber snatcher problem, right? I was very, very upset that, he put all this trust in her and she let them down again, and et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. So a little bit later on, this was an an emotional beat exactly after this. But during this same time, I think like maybe a day or so later, after some discussions later, maybe even the next session, before the Endless Storytellers come into the festival, there's some carnival games that we should talk about, because that was very, very memorable to me.
It sure was.
Okay.
To you.
Yeah, to me, because I'm a nerd and I remember all this shit.
I wish I could remember shit.
Okay, here. We'll play another game, which is Spark Kriana's memory.
Okay.
Do you remember a certain whack-a-mole game that was played in which Mila substituted in because she like?
Yeah, I remember.
So, without being as cryptic as I did just now with Kriana Face, there are a variety of games and activities going on, right? Because it's a festival. One of them is almost like a rudimentary version of whack-a-mole, but instead of a mechanism, it's a guy in the box with these little puppets on his hands, and he's sticking them through the holes, and people are trying to bop at them, right? And Mila, getting super excited, takes part, and she wails on the hand, causing this man great discomfort. So, to make amends, what does she do?
Doesn't she become the whack-a-mole person?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she does. And because of her reflexes, a lot of the other party members try to win, and I don't think they're able to. She kind of taunts them a little bit with the little puppets. It was funny.
I remember Tom getting pissed off and walking away.
Yes. And I also remember, now, since this has to do with Patrick, do you remember a certain carnival game that...
I do.
Okay, then I'll let you tell the story.
So after a few carnival games where Patrick was generally playing along like any normal carnival goer would, trying it out, and maybe not doing so well and whatnot, there was the last carnival game that he tried out, and it was, I think, like a ring toss thing.
It was a ring toss, yeah.
I believe I can't remember exactly what was on. I think it was like bottles or something like that. Patrick actually took real note in the items on there, because it was instead of just carny like usual prizes or whatever, things like that, it was actually foods and things like that.
Like fudge.
Fudge.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Food is my trigger.
As well as, I believe, I'll get to the fudge part first. So first things first, Patrick then got on his serious face and started like taking his time and measuring out like the distance. Started just crunching just all the probabilities of what's going on, the wind, all of that other business. And basically, there was like passerby just look at this idiot. What is he even doing? And he starts. Patrick starts actually winning quite a bit, and people are like, "Can you do that for me?"
Yep.
And Patrick started winning a lot of people a lot of drinks.
Sure did.
And got himself some moonshine.
He did, yeah. The big prizes of your mathematical advantage was fudge and moonshine, which is just two very dangerous substances if eaten in large quantities. One will give you diabetes, the other one will murder you. So with that, soon after the Endless Storytellers show up, they sing a song, and I played the Bard song, which is a very, very catchy tune. And they enter the group, enter the post. Everyone really, really loves them. And the party, since there's a potential for them to join the Endless Storytellers, meet with Perrin and the rest of the traveling troupe at his home for a dinner. So I'll just briefly go over some of the main characters that the party encounters with the Endless Storytellers, and there's a particularly hilarious moment during the story, during the dinner that we should talk about.
Oh my
But
god, I remember this.
I don't
yes.
remember this.
Oh, well, that's what this is for too, to help you out. So the members of the Endless Storytellers were followed. Zoe Wedgwood, who was the head manager of it, attractive woman in her mid-40s, raven black hair, down to her shoulders, luring to the dinner. They kind of figured that her and Perrin were a bit of an item by the sounds of the way they were kind of canoodling, right? There was Caleb Everton. He was the executive officer and the head cantor of the of the main a cappella singing group. There was Giovanni the Firebrand Bonfield, who was a burster and an acrobat. There's Kennedy Dodge, who was both a medical individual who could offer medical treatment, and from time to time she was like a showgirl as well, who was blonde in her early 20s. There was a woman named Tessa Deathclock Van, who was also a new hire. She was a juicer. She really wanted to do a lot of death-defying stunts. There was Cyron Rycroft, the Elvin Barker and announcer, the fast-talking elf, who was filled with a bunch of stories, and later on is just a real card. And then there was Mo Shanji, who was a DB juggler of some sort of feline mutant or feline like race persuasion. And he was an acrobat and a juggler as well. Alicia had been hired on as security, as was Josh. So both the individuals that the party assisted out of the Witchling's Cave also found work with the Endless Storytellers. Now, with that, now that I'll stop talking for a moment, I'll let the three of you, mostly probably Byrne and I almost said Patrick, Byrne and Piff, explain, and then this will stir your memory, and you'll get on this too, Karana. So
Okay.
I'll throw it to you guys to set up kind of what happened during the dinner.
Go ahead, Piff. Have
No,
fun with
please, you first.
Okay.
Okay, do you want me to start the ball rolling, or are you good?
I just want to say 2 words. Well, I remember 2 specific words. Ice cream. Or something along those lines.
I'm hungry, but that doesn't stir anything.
Okay.
I remember ice cream, but that was at a different time.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll maybe put this on rails a little bit if that's okay with you guys.
Do it.
Go for it.
Go for it.
So you guys made one of your rounds, and you were meeting with a lot of the individuals, and you explained at this time you had Jackie programmed to do a little dance every time, like programmed to do when you say the word pineapple, she would like wiggle her little paw at you as like in a no-no type of position.
Mm-hmm.
And with several of the encounters of the NPCs, because the group was very odd and erratic, they convinced in particular Kennedy that you were a group of clowns.
Yeah. Which was really easy to pull off because I remember Mila just sticking her face into her food and
Because she fell asleep.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's what happens.
She fell asleep and she landed her face in mashed potatoes.
That's what it was.
I
Mashed
remember
potatoes.
falling in mashed potatoes. I do remember that.
Good. And then someone said the word pineapple, and Jackie did her dance.
Oh yeah.
And-
that's right. Jackie could dance with pineapple.
Yeah, and Kennedy proudly proclaimed to everyone during the dinner that, oh, they're clowns, it's okay. So with that, now the group wasn't guaranteed to get into the Endless Storytellers. They had to audition, or at least meet people, and have the individuals of the Endless Storytellers, both the management and some of the performers, to kind of give the thumbs up in regards to that. So the task for you guys was, like, you all kind of broke up at that point during the session, right? Al went over because he was interested in treating medically treating people. So he paired up with Kennedy and got the lowdown on that. Mila went to speak with not
Caleb.
Yeah, Caleb went to speak with Caleb, and he auditioned her singing voice at the local bar. Tom met up with Giovanni the Firebrand to kind of audition with him to see what Tom was able to do and if it could be incorporated into the act. In which I remember the Firebrand said, "Okay, you can definitely come along, and I'll teach you quite a few things, but we need to get you a nickname, a stage name, right?"
Yeah, I remember that. I'm still sort of embarrassed by that.
Yeah, don't worry about it. There's a lot of things that I'm embarrassed about this campaign, and not from stuff that you do, stuff that I do, right?
Yeah.
And
I'm
then
glad I can't remember most of mine.
which might be just your brain trying to protect itself. And Patrick, because he was so knowledgeable about pre-riff stuff, and the Endless Storytellers were actually going to take the dragon skull that Dan Perrin bought from the group after their last excursion. Patrick was going to pair up with Siren Raycroft, the Elven Barker, to show, villagers and passersby the endless oddities, of a days gone by, and magical artifacts and all this other stuff, in which Siron tried his best to convince Patrick to come up with a story of everything, but their personalities, will just say, did not coalesce together very, very well. Is there anything else you guys want to add in regards to that?
No, I'm good for that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I could definitely miss a bunch of stuff too, so feel free to stop me. So, but with all good news, go ahead.
There was one fairly important thing that I
Okay.
do want to highlight. Well, it's slightly important to Mila and to the rest of the group. That was the first time I actually performed or tried to perform a backflip.
That's right, and you rolled a 99 and you fell on your face.
Yeah, I rolled a 99 and I had a 98% chance to succeed.
Oh God, that's right. And I remember it was during the audition with the Firebrand. He's like, "Okay, you can do the fire stuff. Are you very acrobatic?" And Tom's like, "Yeah, sure. Watch this." Face plant. And the Firebrand's like, "Yeah, maybe we'll work on that." That's right. Thank you. I would have forgotten about that.
Yeah. So now, if
funny.
anyone ever watches, I say, "Hang on, I do a backflip," you know where it's referencing.
Exactly. There's a lot of backflipping in this game, an inordinate amount of backflipping.
Just to show off, and for some reason it never pans out well.
Yeah, most of the time we try it and it just doesn't succeed.
Just doesn't work, yeah. So, but luckily, with only mild, very, very mild friction, the Endless Storytellers accept Dan Perrin's idea, and you guys become part-time associates, because the party was very concerned about being so attached to this group they couldn't go out and do their own thing from time to time. And so they weren't full-blown members, but they were kind of seen as part-time or associate members of the Endless Storytellers. And this really helped story-wise too. So if the party wanted to investigate something, it'd be like, "Oh no, we can't do it. We have a show at 4:00, right?" So it was very, very malleable, a malleable arrangement. So before you guys left Parents Post completely, there were a few major items that you guys purchased, items and a creature that you purchased that we should probably go over now before we talk about our last point, which is when you guys were traveling to Innisfail. So as far as shopping goes, I remember now that you guys had a significant amount of coin, you ordered a major vehicle, which is still with the group as we speak, which is the Behemoth. For those of you who aren't aware, a Behemoth is a very large scientific robotic vehicle that's almost like, imagine like an RV, a science lab, like on legs with like missile launchers and like big hands to clamp down and inspect things and like a really good sensory suite system. That's a behemoth.
Yeah.
It's pretty groovy. And there was also some power armor that was purchased, some Samson power armor, some flying power armor, and then what Mila / Karana proudly proclaims to be her Power Ranger armor.
Oh, my Power Ranger! Yeah.
Yeah, which is dyed purple.
Yes.
It's still dyed purple. And not having just one furry friend, although she was a robot, you guys also decided to get another furry friend, right?
Yeah.
Hannibal. Oh, I thought I heard Krana say who. I'm like, Hannibal.
Oh, I
puppy.
was saying yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. My bad. So,
Also, I just
mhm.
put up a picture of ye old behemoth.
oh, great. So people have a picture reference. That's great. That's great. Since I've been doing a lot of the talking so far on this podcast, I'll maybe throw talking about Hannibal to you guys if you're up for it.
Sure.
That'd be
Okay.
up to you, Burn.
We got
No, Kriana, none for you.
It really could just be like we met up with Pear and he had a kennel. We got a puppy
Yeah.
named Hannibal.
well, you just told it.
Done and done.
You guys can say it if you want.
You
5
know-
seconds later, he
You know,
says
guys,
it.
I do believe we went to
The
Perrin.
best.
We found out he had a kennel, and we found a little border collie, and we took him home, and we named him Hannibal.
That was great, Burn. Thank you.
And he's been with us.
Frodo's still losing his shit.
You play.
Is there any details I missed, Inferno?
No, you're good.
Okay.
All right. So tell you what, to make up for it's my endless DMness, right? The need to move things forward, right? So I
Sure.
apologize.
Yeah.
So everyone can read what topic 4 is. Oh, fuck it. I'll just outline things again.
Hold on.
Okay.
I do believe that topic 4 is traveling to Innisfail, and excuse me, meeting with a certain seller and his monster.
Yes. Keep going. I'm loving this.
All right. On the way to Innisfail, we encountered a wandering salesman who had, if I recall correctly, an ATV or a van.
Yeah, an ATV with like a cage in the back. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Continue.
And he trumped up. He got everybody, excited and started barking at everybody. Hey, come look at my wares! Come look at my wares! And he was selling a lot of silver, iron, and wood things.
Mhm.
And he took out a. Well, he opened up the cage, if I recall correctly, or was it closed?
No, it wasn't. Oh, it was closed because that little creature in the back of it was going fucking nuts.
Right. And he had Tom demonstrate. Well, he called for a volunteer. Tom volunteered. Demonstrate. Hey, why don't you try and use magic or psionics? Tom tried to burn it, and if I recall correctly, it split into 2.
It sure did.
Yeah. And then the traveling salesman took out a wooden spike and poked at it and killed it, if I recall correctly.
Although I believe it was iron, but yes.
Iron. Yes. So the group ended up buying a lot of silver stuff because they are useful against supernatural things. Yeah,
you pretty much got it right to the T. The traveling seller was really illustrating that's his big selling point. Is like you could have all the guns and the magic in the world, but my wares will save your life because sometimes there's monsters like this thing behind me that are much more dangerous and you can't kill with a gun.
I mean, look at this thing, man. Jeez.
I also remember a very memorable quote from Al, which is like, I do not approve of him keeping an animal or a monster in the back and torturing it, but I can't argue with his argument, and they end up buying a bunch of stuff anyway, right? But
he kind of has a point.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember the this merchant was like, "No, this is a savage monster. If I let it out, it would kill all of you, right? I'm doing you all a service by keeping it alive and demonstrating it. Because if I just came to you and told you about it, you'd say I was a liar, right? Here was the proof." So he had his own twisted, like, rationalization for it. And really, with that fine summation, that's it for 49 to 73. We'll start next podcast with the events that happen in Innisfail, and a lot of them, like, this is where the campaign like ramps up to a whole new level.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's when things
on
go...
several
It
accounts.
sure does.
You can't remember, but we'll tell you afterwards.
Oh no, I remember.
Oh, I know, but Krana just needs.
No,
it was a long time ago.
I remember.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Anyway, but we'll open it up to questions now. We'll answer questions for a little bit, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah.
No,
So,
I have things to say.
okay,
What?
what do you have to say, Piffy?
So, a few notes, specifically about the DD lady.
Okay.
For my own perspective.
Yeah.
One of my favorite early moments was actually Patrick knowing the race and where it's from and its usual day-to-day activities. Like I think she came from Go Fuck Yourself.
That's
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's right. She had a mouth on her.
Yeah, she did.
I can't remember all the details, but that's generally how the discussion went, as well as that also iconic scene of Mila's character breaking her neck.
Yeah.
At that time, and quite a distance forward in the campaign, he does not know that happened.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Probably. I believe he was just told that she is gone. Like I think that was the exact term.
Yeah.
And Patrick seemed to have taken it well.
Anything else you'd like to add? Because we did go over a lot of stuff, and I can
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. All right, cool. So there were already a few questions here in chat beforehand, but those of you who are here right now in the live stream, feel free to ask whatever questions you like. The big one that I saw just right now scanning was from DD8842, which asked, did Perrin ever pay them all the money he owed them? The answer is no.
Wait, he didn't?
No.
Nope. We'll get more into it when we get to that point. But due to certain complications,
That son of a bitch.
there's still quite a few, and that wasn't because he was trying to rip you off.
Oh. Oh, okay. Then I'm fine.
Yeah, in fact, he did you a big fucking favor.
Shut
But-
up, Kriana.
Shut up, Krana. But we'll get to that when we get to that.
Sure.
Mhm.
Kriana was drunk. Don't blame her. Thanks.
We'll
Probably
wait.
true, but thanks.
We'll wait a few more minutes here.
We'll wait for like a minute or two.
Mhm.
See if
For the
there's
stream
any
to
more
catch up.
questions. Yeah.
And if not, then we'll cut the podcast short.
Then we're done. We're done.
While we're doing that, I'll quickly browse the previous video and see if there are any questions in the comment section of that video.
I'm stopping the stream. We're done.
What?
No doubt.
Oh.
Oh, great! I'm glad you really like it, Jasmine. Yeah, this will be. We're going to be doing a podcast like this every week, hopefully, as long as we have a few players to talk about it, and that way, new people to this don't have to go through the very, very large amount of videos that we now have. So, yeah. All right, let's see here. And Squee will be joining us very soon too.
Yay.
What do you think of all this, Captain Janeway?
Wait, was that you in that picture? No.
No.
Never mind. No, that was what's his
Mike
face?
Nelson.
Yeah, Mike Nelson. Yeah.
It's Captain Janeway.
Well, I was just
I have to
confused
work
by
on my
picture.
Captain Janeway impression. I've only really paid
Cool.
attention to Next Gen.
Oh yes, Athos wants to see the character sheets on these people. Tell you what, Next, we'll do our best to arrange that for next stream, hopefully, if we remember, because I have all the character sheets, and I'll have to double check with all the players to make sure if it's okay to show that stuff, show their stats.
I'm cool. I'll make sure that you have the updated one for me after.
We'll have to wait on mine until the big reveal happens.
Trilby's wanting to know where the players think the campaign is going, but that's kind of going into that will really confuse people, listeners to this podcast, because we'd be jumping ahead a hell of a lot. So we'll have to wait on that one.
Let's see if I can remember what I was expecting all the way back then. Well, I think since we're going on a journey with a traveling crew and whatnot, that we would see a lot of different cultures and basically a lot of what usual like large bouts of travel would be shown when traveling. Like different landscapes, cultures, as well as maybe interesting things about like maybe something breaks down or help is needed in a different section, that kind of sort of thing. Lots of possibilities with it.
Yeah. I do remember you guys were really, really keen on the idea of being with the traveling show. And I was really excited about that too, because that's not something you see in a lot of conventional RPGs. So, it's always, go here and kill this monster, go here, get this artifact, right? But this is a really nice, it was a good way to structure the story. Also, hi, Squee.
Hi, Squee.
Hello.
Oh, hello, everyone.
Oh,
hi, girl.
Welcome. I mean, wait.
Don't welcome yourself.
Hi.
Yeah, especially don't do it twice, you narcissist.
Yeah. Jeez.
Just a bunch of highs.
So
Did
we got
Al ever apologize for pretending to sell Mila as a slave? Yes. Yes, he did. Like, immediately.
That was the first session.
Yep.
Yeah.
I believe he apologized while he was walking her to there to go do it.
He's like, sorry, just follow my lead, but I'm so sorry.
He was like, what? Why?
I have a weakness.
I can only, thinking back on it now, I can only be glad that it was Mila that I tried to, and not other people in the party. Yeah.
Cobra Gladiators asking what my opinion is on letting a player play two characters at once, like a brother and sister, and why. I'm not keen on that personally. If a player really put their foot down, and there's the only way they wanted to play the game, I might make concessions. But this is just my perspective on role playing, right? You're playing a role, a protagonist, right? And you put your identity and your character's personality in that. Right. The second you have two or more people, you're kind of splitting that. And I don't mean in split personalities, right? I mean two completely different people that you have to memorize the mechanics for, two completely different turns in the combat round, right? It really slows things down. What I think a better way to do that is to make your one character, but allow the players to also create additional characters in your world. Have the GM be very open-minded with that. So if they want to create a sibling character, talk to the DM. The DM talks with them about them. They learn exactly what the personality is, or if it's a dear friend, or if it's a parent, right? Or if it's members of their past. And that way the players still contribute. They're still breathing life into this, but they don't have to worry about mechanically getting, they have to switch personalities all the time, right? They're not like, here's another thing too. If a player is playing a brother and sister, they're going to have a conversation with themselves. It's kind of weird in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I prefer, which is play two characters, would really rather not, would prefer them making an NPC for the GM to play. And as long as the GM plays that NPC responsibly, it should be just as,
yeah. I will stress it does take a very not necessarily skilled but mature GM to pull it off, though, because I can imagine so many GMs out there wouldn't do it as well as you do. Like they would take the NPC and then just do what they want to do with it and go where they want to go with it. That might not be what the player had intended. So, like for example, I honestly think that you are one of a few type of GMs that would really be able to pull that off.
Oh, thank you. I don't think I'm all that special, but I'll take the compliment.
Well, it's not.
Special little bitch.
It's simply, as a GM myself, I do know the temptation that can be of, like, let's say you made a character and I'm NPC in it, and I can think of like, oh my god, wouldn't it be so cool if Carla suddenly threw Strife in there to get divorced, you know? And obviously that's not the Carla that you as a player created, but I could see a lot of GMs doing that kind of thing.
Not respecting. Yeah. We spoke a little bit of this privately as characters. I mean, as players, is that if a player takes their time to set up a backstory, don't fuck that up, right? They made that backstory that way for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Don't get your grubby little drama hands all over it, right? Respect what was made and make stories based on that, right? Same thing. Respect the NPC that's being made and move stories based on that, because any personality type can create any sort of dramatic, interest, right?
Yeah.
As long as you
And as a GM, you can always just, if you had a really cool idea, like let's say Inferno had a really cool idea of something to do with Bear that would go against Bear's personality. He could always just make an NPC to do whatever he was that he wanted to do.
It's true. Exactly. Bingo.
Bear.
Let's see. There's also one.
There's a bear.
I didn't know we weren't there yet.
No, of course we weren't there yet. We just got to Innisfail with that endless
I
storytelling.
just jumped in. I had no idea where we were.
Okay,
But
we
really-
met a bear called Bear, and we called him Bear, and he's a bear. Got
He's
it?
a bear. He's
Right.
a bear.
So
He goes
guys,
there.
Back to the questions.
Yes.
We have a question from DD8842. Think you guys will ever try the Rift Savage Worlds rule set?
I want to try it, but not with this game, because we already know the rules to this game. I don't want to fuck with it halfway through, but I wouldn't mind playing a little once the rules get published, just to give them a shot playing like a little mini one-off session.
Yeah.
I'd be fine with that.
I will say that I have played a lot of Savage Worlds. At least 4 campaigns in it. Around 3 to 4 months for each. So I'm fairly well versed on the rules and everything for at least the system. There shouldn't be too much of a difference, and we're already fairly well versed in this system, but it might be fun to try out, like maybe a one shot or two.
Yeah, you should GM the one shot since you know all about Savage Worlds.
That'd be cool.
I know nothing about Savage Worlds.
And all of a sudden, Burns like, "What the fuck did you just say?"
I tried DMing once. I will never DM again.
But
Oh,
it's us, Burn.
No.
yeah, we're not gonna judge you.
I will
Creative.
never DM again.
Okay,
I'm
fine.
Sorry, but my IRL group has kind of
Ruined
trashed
you.
the taste
Aw,
for
boo,
DMing.
Okay,
boo, IRL
we can
group.
respect that, but yeah, fuck those guys. But yeah, we will respect that.
Honestly, all that aside, GMing is not for everyone. There are there are a lot of people who just want to be the character. They
I'm
don't.
the best GM.
The idea of GMing doesn't appeal.
Yeah.
But I know nothing about Savage Worlds. But from what a lot of people say and the way they talk, it's the bee's knees.
It's not really that different, to be honest. There's
Yeah.
I mean, all it is changing the skill set system.
Oh,
Like,
that'd be really interesting on how fast it would be to make a character in the Savage World system.
Oh, a hell of a
compared
Wait,
lot
to-
so the combat's all the same?
practically. See, here's how you fight in Savage Worlds. Now, this is in the base Savage Worlds and those kind of things. Might not be how it happens in Rifts, Savage Rifts. You have a fight skill and a shoot skill, and you don't have like percentages of it. Your target number is always a 4, and the difference of how good you are in fighting in melee or shooting is the dice that you roll. So somebody that is really good at shooting has a D12. So they roll a D12 and have to get above a 4. It's super simplistic. I think that for our purposes, just normal riffs would be better, but it might be nice for one-shots.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it might be something worth looking at just as an interesting thing. Because my first thought is, if it's really that simple, I mean, what's the point of the huge Kickstarter to converge the two? I mean, it doesn't seem, but still, there has been a huge effort made to do it, which means that at least a lot of people out there think that there is a child that can be born from this that is good.
So my suggestion is we end this podcast with one more question. I really like this one from Gur because it's something that each of you players can answer individually, and I don't have to put my own stupid mouth into this. So, serious question. How solid did you have your PC, your player character personalities in the beginning, and how much have they evolved? No specifics necessary, just in general is fine.
Who wants to go first?
I will start. So, just about every single character I make, except for a select few, have been generally made to evolve. Patrick is a stunning example of that, which he was based on a concept and then grew into his character. And throughout this campaign, I now have the mindset of exactly like who he is, what his motivations are, all that other stuff. But also on top of that, now it's so far into the campaign, I'm also thinking about how the character is evolving from past experiences and current things that are happening. Like I have the base, and now it's changing according to his environments and different experiences. So very much evolved, and I did not have a solid concept when I first started him out.
Cool. Who wanted to go nexty?
I suppose I will go nexty.
Okay.
I had Al really well fleshed out. In fact, I spent hours with Inferno fleshing him out before we started the campaign. So I had a really good idea of who Al was, and he has evolved incredibly since the campaign started. Again, don't want to go into too much details or anything, but things that were his focus have kind of been replaced by the thing that was his hobby. Like his shift, his mentality of who he is and what he wants to be has shifted to where he's still recognizable from the way he was before, but it is clear that it's a big difference. So yes, he's evolved a lot.
Cool.
I will go next.
Okay.
Mila is a train wreck. She's a train wreck from the beginning. It's how I wanted it to be. I talked to Inferno. He agreed. It's super depressing and stupid. But she's evolved and then devolved and then evolved again, and it's a constant. That's my input, motherfucker.
Great. That was great, except for that last little swear word, which was uncalled for.
You can't control me. You're not my real dad. Dad.
I'm not any kind of dad.
Dad.
I'm not any kind of father to you, and I'm glad.
Daddy. Daddy, no.
So I'm guessing that it's me.
Yeah, please stop this.
All right. Well, going into this campaign, we had just gotten out of a campaign that lasted like 2 sessions.
You're talking about my campaign that we played for a little bit, in which the other 2 players started as a cameo in the very first episode as the bad guys.
I remember the Mun-Muns.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They might still be out there.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
But I came in here expecting like, I mean, we might have fun for a few sessions, but I'm not expecting it to go on for 2 years, which it basically has now.
Almost a month away.
2 full years of riffs is amazing. But also I was used to not really needing a backstory and that kind of thing for my IRL group. So I just came in to play, hey, I want to screw around with a burster, so I'm going to do that. And I had no real personality other than, hey, he's a kid. That's his thing. You know, he's a lot younger than I'm used to playing. Okay, fine, sure. And I think it's very easy to see how he has evolved over the entire series, going from being angsty to angry to more safety conscious to eventually calming down and where we are now.
Cool, very cool. And I just want to reiterate how great the pen and paper role-playing game can be. For everyone who has an in-depth idea of their personality, spends hours on it, to someone who just picks it up, in the end, it's group storytelling, and anything can continue on and evolve and to grow and to change with, a really creative group. So, yeah, it's exciting. So we'll end. Any final thoughts, words, anything from you guys before I wrap things up?
Mila is a maelstrom of fuck.
Oi, it's true, but oi.
You're gonna be like,
Only
Mila's
she
a
can-
male.
No,
I'm looking at
only she can
Tom
say
with
that
a
about her
raised
character.
eyebrow.
Yeah, I was about to say
And
you're
what I
all kind
meant
of
by
a
that-
maelstrom of fuck.
What I meant by that is, goddamn, everything about Mila is just
Cool.
Cute.
I'm having trouble articulating this. Give me a second.
Well, let me make. Oh yeah, no, go ahead.
It's ups, downs, craziness, essentially, is what I'm trying to go with.
It's pretty
Yeah.
accurate.
At least she knows how to keep her mouth shut. That's a good thing
Oh my god.
that some people don't have.
Wow,
we
sweet.
start the session and already Al wakes up with a broken jaw.
Well, no, wait. I'm talking bad about Al.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that she. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
yeah, he's
okay.
being facetious.
I'm not saying that that Mila can't talk or needs to stop talking. I'm saying she knows how to keep secrets, unlike some people in our group.
Yeah, she knows how to keep
Wait.
secrets.
Like
Yeah.
where we are currently.
Like, oh hey, let's try and find
No.
big
No.
hat.
Yeah, no. Censored. Okay, I'll end this. I'll end this podcast with a comment from myself, which I said this before. It's like your characters are like all my children. I can't favor any of you over the other because they're all equally all messed up. So
Oh, it's
there you
beautiful.
go.
I'm
Your own
okay
unique
if
way.
you favor Patrick. I really think I'm okay with that.
I do like there was totally a session where I'm like, I love you all equally, but Patrick, I really love you.
Yeah, I
Oi.
remember that.
I don't. I'll probably forget about it in 10 minutes, but still, I'm offended.
I am offended as well.
Oh, don't be. I'm just kidding. I
No.
do love you all
Too
equally.
late. It's too late
Okay.
to apologize.
Am I the only one sitting there going, yeah?
That's pretty great.
It's pretty groovy.
Grenade.
I